Hey, welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel. First I want to say thanks for all the subscriptions and the viewing that you guys have been doing. It's really been fun for me. I hope it's been fun for you. And I hope you enjoy this video. Today I want to tell you how to grow bamboo from cuttings. And the first thing you want to do is a little trick that I've learned over the years that I want to share with you. Okay, now one thing you need to do, well, you don't need to do it, but it's going to increase your chances of having cuttings that are going to actually grow, is to bring with you a bucket of water. And the reason for that is once you make the cutting, it's important to pretty quickly submerge that cutting, the end that you just cut, into a bucket of water so that it right away starts sucking up water. You don't want it to get dry. Now some bamboos are easier to grow from cuttings than others and don't really require that. This type of bamboo is one of the easier ones to grow. It's called Bambusa vulgaris Wamin or Buddha belly bamboo. It's a dwarf bamboo that has a really interesting cane structure. Kind of looks like the belly of the Buddha. But I'm going to do it anyway because I want to get a really high rate of germination. So let's go ahead and just fill up a bucket. I'm going to fill it up most of the way because it doesn't hurt to get it wet. Alright, that should be good. Now let's go ahead and get some cuttings. Okay, so now for the fun part, we get to take the cuttings. But before I do that, I want to show you this really cool, unique type of bamboo. Let's take a look at the cane of this. It's large, and it has that very unique bulbed shape at the bottom, which is cool. When it gets older, like this one, it's less pronounced, the bulge of the cane, but you can see on this one, it really does have that Buddha belly look. And like I said, this is one of the varieties that is the easiest to grow from a cutting, and you don't really need large cuttings. I'm going to do some other videos with other types of bamboo to show you how to do types that are harder to grow. But this type, we're going to have a home run every time. Alright, so let's find a spot on here. I'm just going to use the branches. You could use any part really. It's this node, this part where the two pieces of the bamboo connect, is where the roots are going to grow. Typically right around here where the side branch grows. But that's true for any of these other branches as well. And you can see this one is kind of growing into this cactus, this thornless cactus that I've been tree forming for years. And it wouldn't hurt to get some of these off of there. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a couple of these. I think I'll get this one. Alright, that'll work. That doesn't look like much. Got a dead piece here. Just remove that, but that'll work. I'm going to leave the leaves on there. I can do some trimming later, but it won't hurt. Put that in water. Get another one. And you can hardly tell that any cuttings have been taken, but one of the things you want to do is really make sure you're getting cuttings that are alive. And you can see this one hasn't started to die or turn brown anywhere around it, and that makes a good cutting, and it's got some healthy leaves. You're going to need that to try to start photosynthesis, but most of the leaves will fall off after the cutting is sat in the pot for 3 or 4 days, and don't worry about that. Okay, let's get just a couple more. Work. Okay, now there's one other reason that I like to get the Buddha belly, the smaller cuttings, and that is that, as I showed you on the adult plant, the smaller canes are the ones that really look the best to me, or the most interesting. So, take the smaller cuttings, you're going to have smaller all-around plant growing to start, and you get more time when it looks like this. Okay, now that we have the cuttings, let's move on to the next step. Okay, next we want to get some soil. Now this doesn't need to be too complicated. The first thing I want to do is get a nice large pot, and the reason I use a big pot is because it will stay it'll stay moist longer, and I want to make sure there's plenty of hydration. Oh, look at this. It's a worm. Alright, you want that? Yeah, what a prize. Got that. Good. Alright, so what I have here is some composted cow manure that I just threw out from a bag that I had extra from, and it's just on top of regular old sandy soil that we have here. I'm just going to blend that up a little bit. Wouldn't want all the composted manure because that'll be way too dense. But the reason I use soil from my backyard and not just buying potting soil is because I want the cuttings to get used to growing in something that's like where they're going to be planted. As you can see, that's a pretty good half and half mix. All right.
Yeah.
Mix up a little more. Okay, that's good. Don't need to fill it up to the top. Just about that far. Alright, next I'll get the cutting. Alright, so here we are with some soil mixed with composted cow manure and the cuttings I took that have been soaking in this water now for about 10 minutes. Now there's a number of ways you can do this. One way is to cut off the ends, but you really don't get anything from cutting off the ends other than creating another spot on the plant that is an open wound. So I wouldn't do that at all. And this doesn't have to be very fancy at all. You just take the cutting, jam it into the soil, not so far that it hits the bottom of the pot, but this pot has got about, I'd say 12 inches of soil in it, something like that, and I would push it down about 8 inches. You want to have a couple of the nodes, a couple of the section points like I talked about earlier, underneath the level of the soil. Now this is going to look kind of messy, but really that's the best way to go. Now, why would I plant 4 in one pot? The reason I do that is because I expect some of them might not make it, and the others will. So this is a way to have some redundancy, keeping them fairly spaced out. Also to have plenty of sprouts when they do start growing. Okay, that'll be good. Just kind of pack it around, but not too much. So there you have it. A bunch of sprouts in the pot, ready to go. And one of the advantages of putting the sprouts in this bucket is now I've got a way to give them their first watering too. So I just use that water right in there. Okay, now what's going to happen next? First thing that's going to happen is these leaves are going to start to die, curl up, and just they'll fall off. And that's fine. You don't need to take the leaves off, you can just leave them like that. As they fall off, it'll be just canes, and then you'll have a period where it kind of looks dead, except for the canes will stay a greenish color. And after about a week or 2 weeks, you'll start to see little tiny pointy shoots coming out. Little shoots coming out. You want to start looking for that, but give it time. 2, 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, you'll see something. And that's when the joy of growing bamboo from cuttings really begins. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it inspired you to try this yourself. It's very easy, especially if you choose a Bambusa vulgaris. There's many varieties of that type. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you'd like to see more videos like that, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard.
Delicious.